brains, one cell, two brains, one cell, two brains, one cell, two brains, one cell.
Well, hello. Welcome back to Two Brains, One Cell, episode 105. We are currently missing another brain. So this is this is technically another episode of Hanging Out with Carson. What? Welcome back to Hanging Out with Carson, I guess. We're chiefing on a Lego cigarette. Looking sophisticated as fuck. Am I right? No, these stories that I keep telling every episode about how awesome that my trip was to Vegas just encouraged Cade to go to Vegas on his own. So, I believe his flight is either leaving later today or it already left and he's going to be in Vegas. I don't fucking know. Regardless, he's out there dilly fucking around. I hope that they have the best time. I hope they have a better time than we all had. Because it's their first time in Vegas. What? So, I hope it is just the best. But we left off on a little story about how I got to a strip club with Ethan and Damien. Okay? So, I want to start there and just kind of get off rip and just start going into it. But, how are you doing? How are you doing today? You look cute. Do something new with that? Did you do something new with that? It looks cute regardless. You look great today. Oh, look at that little smile. Look at that cute smile. Gorgeous. I love you. Fucking piece of shit. No, this is just always, it feels so weird not having my counterpart to either make fun of me, derail a conversation, or some other fuck shit. Or saying something I have to bleep. The podcast feels so different without him. And I gotta say, every time I do this, I'm sure I'm repeating myself so many times, but it feels so weird talking to just you guys, because you guys are fucking boring. You never say anything back. You just sit there and look at me while I talk to you. You don't even have a conversation with me. It's kind of fucked, honestly. I am not a big fan of this interaction. I also got out of the shower and just kind of sat down here for a while before I was like, I guess I gotta record the podcast. So my hair's wet. I feel like a troll. I am a troll. But I don't know. I feel like the first little bit of the podcast needs to not be the storytelling portion. I feel like we just gotta warm up. We gotta get warm together. We gotta warm up. Just hang out around a fire for a second. Oh God. I don't know. I want to talk about so many things. We've been doing Vegas for like 4 episodes. There's been a bunch of fun stuff going on. I did just order new CK Beats stickers. I've got a fun little cowboy one and a fun little sunflower one. And those will both be available probably when this comes out. So I think the sunflowers get here Monday and the cowboy ones get here on Thursday. So look forward to those because they're fucking sick. And the cowboy ones, I was just like, fuck the QR code. Because the whole reason why I started doing stickers was like, yeah, sure, we got to put CK Beats out there. We got to get like a way for people to just like have some CK Beats merch and whatnot. But the real thing behind it was that I wanted to make like art to sell and put on clothes and stuff like that. And I didn't want to necessarily make my art things be like just to put out CK Beat stuff. Like I wanted to also do art on top of the music. So anyway, so the cowboy one doesn't have a QR code on it. It's a little 2x2 sticker, a little circle one. Thing's gonna be sick as fuck. And it also stems from the fact that I've been in just a little bit of a yeehaw phase lately. I've been in a little, a little bit of ski, a little bit of yeehaw, a little bit of a yodel, when you get in one of those little phases. I got my aunt's wedding coming up, and she wanted everyone to wear cowboy boots and stuff. So I got some cowboy boots from Brighton. Put them on. I don't have bootcut jeans, so I looked like a fucking dweeb. And then the other night, Brighton and Brittany wanted to go to the Outlaw, so I was like, should I do this? Should I get in on this? So I ran to Walmart. I bought myself some bootcut jeans, which also I needed for the wedding anyway. So it was like 2 for 1 kind of, or 2 birds, 1 stone. Saying that phrase now is fucking weird, but you get it. And I had to get a new belt because the only one I had was a Zoomies belt that's got like neon green melting skulls with mushrooms on it. In Japanese, I think. I don't fucking know. Am I wearing it? I don't know. So I was like, well, can't wear that. And so I bought a new belt. I was like, oh, it's reversible. It's got black and brown. I don't know exactly how you're supposed to match your boots and belt situation. I'm assuming it's the same way you match like a dress pant kind of situation. So I bought a new belt, bought some new pants, went home, got all dressed up, fucking yeehawed that shit together. I looked great. Then I threw on some Coulter Wall and got in the fucking mood. Okay? Later in the night, though, my belt fucking broke. Brand new. Bought it that day. Fucking broke in the bathroom as I was trying to undo it to take a piss. Yeah. Take one, not leaving it. And so that was a bummer. But ever since that night, after listening to Coulter Wall and stuff, I have been nonstop this entire week listening to nothing but Coulter Wall's albums on repeat. I go out at the gym where I usually listen to like funk and fucking EDM and some crazy like brain melting, ear bleeding shit. I was listening to some fucking what's the big one that it's been Lay me down easy. Lay me down hard. Light my cigarette. Make my bed somewhere beneath the stars. Butchered it, but you get the idea. But like I was listening to that shit at the gym and fucking just lifting weights. It's a real fun switch. This whole week has been nothing but Coulter Wall. It's great. And so when I had the opportunity to get some stickers for a deal and I wanted some new design, I literally drew this skull cowboy with a cigarette. I drew all of that within just a couple of hours, gave it to the sticker thing, and they kicked it back out to me, and they're like, yeah, you get these to you by Thursday. And I was like, what the fuck? Hell yeah, dude. So those stemmed from this little phase that I'm in. Buy a sticker! Buy a sticker. They're going to be cool. I already know you want one, so just plan on getting one, okay? Deal. Awesome. Sounds good. I don't know how much time we have left on this cut. Oh, it should cut any minute now. Any second now, I mean. Then we'll start talking about the strip club, baby. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. What else was I gonna say? Oh yeah, we're not talking about Vegas, baby. We're talking about Verbatim Baster. I don't have Cade here to reject my ideas, so we just get to fucking go with it this week, dude. It's like an unsupervised child right now. I just get to do whatever the fuck I want. I could eat ice cream for breakfast right now. But fuck that guy, you know what I mean? I was going to start or end this podcast with me playing guitar again. We'll see how it goes. Now I've got my fucking Lego cigarette. We're going crazy. We're going fucking crazy, my guy. I should have drawn a mustache on that thing. Don't look for me in glory. Don't look for me below. I forgot how the rest of it goes. I also forgot one of the really big Colter Wall songs that I've been like just nonstop is called Motorcycle. And I was listening to his album at the gym, the self-titled album at the gym, and I was just sitting there. I think I was either doing back or I was doing something where I was just kind of sitting and mindlessly staring at the ground. And this song comes on, and I'm hearing the guitar, and I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, Colter Wall, love it, love to hear it. And it goes, well, I figure I'd buy me a motorcycle, wrap a pretty little frame around a telephone pole, drive her off a mountain like old Arlo. Figure I'd buy me a motorcycle, figure I'd buy me a motorcycle. Well, I figure I'd drive to the liquor store. Oh, he says walk. Anyway. I just wanted to put that one out there because it is wild to start a song with, I figure I'll buy me a motorcycle and wrap it around a telephone pole. I mean, hell yeah, dude. No, I had to throw that in there because that one was a huge part of me getting re-obsessed with him again. So... we're talking Verbatim Baster. Let's go. Verbatim Baster. This episode, randomly, I'm just going to have to do some really weird shit so we have clips. It's going to be like, what do you call it? I don't know. I'm like baiting you into like you watch the clips. You're like, whoa, this guy's by himself. He's being really funny. Then you watch the episode and it's just me explaining what I'm doing. And it's like a weird meta thing. It's not. But... so every once in a while, I'm going to get a little kooky crazy, okay? You just got to deal with it. Sometimes it's going to be on accident. Sometimes it can be on purpose. We won't know, okay? I am not a fan of my hair today either, so we're just going balls to... wow, why? We're going balls to the wall. All right. Verbatim Baster. So we got to the strip club, right, Little Darlings, and we're kind of outside of there, and we're like gearing up, we're like shaking it off, dusting the shoulders. We're like, okay, we're gonna fucking do this. We're gonna go into a strip club right now. Granted, I don't know if it was their first times, but I know it was my first time. So we get in there. First thing you do, you stop at this counter, and he's like, you get this, like, they give you a whole, like, check down thing. They're like, all right, your first time, yeah, blah, 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 no, blah, 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 blah. They're just giving you a whole rundown on it. We don't serve alcohol, all this kind of stuff. And the longer that we're in this building, the more anxious I'm getting of what is happening. Because it's something about this situation in my head started to, like, like there was some sort of film over it. Like last episode, I knew that something was like, I don't know how I'm gonna feel about this, but in there, it was starting to unravel. I was like, oh, I'm understanding why I don't think I want to be here. And so we pay. They ask us to take everything out of our pockets to do like the metal detector thing, whatever. And I forgot I had my big ass Sharpie marker. I don't know why it was weird to hear that come out of my mouth. Sharpie marker, but I had this like it was a thick Sharpie, and that's what I made Damien's hat into Spider-Man with, was that Sharpie. So I had it on me from earlier, and was also thinking like, we're out there for the Super Bowl. Travis Kelce's out there. Jason Kelce's out there. I'm wearing an Eagles jersey. If there's ever a chance I run, or if it was any famous person, I would have just had them sign something. So regardless, the marker was on me. And then it also gave me something to doodle with when we were at the restaurant, so that was cool. But anyway, security guard is like, ooh, can't do that. And I go, like, at first, the first thing I did was like, yeah, first, sure. And then I took it out of my pocket, and I was like, and then took it behind the counter or something like that. And then I was like, wait, why can't I have a fucking Sharpie in there? What do they expect me to do with a Sharpie in the strip club? It was I was like trying to think of something, and he goes, we've had previous times where someone's gone to the bathroom and tagged the whole bathroom, like all, and I was like, oh, well, yeah, that would do it. And then I was like, but also, like, I know why I had a Sharpie in the strip club. Why would anyone else have a Sharpie in the strip club? That right there sounds like an album name or something. Sharpie in a strip club. Anyway, handed it over. I forked it over to the guy behind the counter. They kind of gave us a rundown again, and they were like, "All right, go through that way." So we walk down this hallway, and the first thing that happens is there's like a couple girls waiting by the end of the hallway, and immediately we almost all get separated. And I have this very, very, very pretty Asian lady. She comes up to me, and I only say that because it comes up later. And she comes up to me, she goes, hi, and she's like talking to me, and I'm like, hey. And we joke about me being scared of women, but in this scenario, I am peak anxiety because I am now realizing, oh, they only want to talk to me because they want my money. So, like, the conversation is stupid because, like, I know she wants my money. She knows she wants my money. She knows I know she wants my money. So it's like a facade. Like, we're just putting on a show so that I'll pay you. And I was having a hard time going to Vegas in the first place because I didn't have money and all this, and we were at this. Anyway, I also didn't have cash on me. We were in a strip club. I didn't have cash. So I was freaking the fuck out. And we had just walked in, and she comes up to me, and she's like, hi, I'm blah, blah, blah. I'm nice to meet you, and like this kind of stuff. And she like is like, should we go find somewhere to sit? And I was like, yeah. And so I'm just staring, like dead staring at Ethan and Damien, like, guys, help, get her away from me. Like, I thought we were here more for a show, not more for like an interaction, if that makes sense. So I'm following them while this lady is talking to me, and it's just going in one ear and out the other because I am focused to stay next to my people that are my saving grace. Like, if anything happens, I can tell these two and we can get the fuck out of here. It was not the case when I found out later. So she then goes, can I sit with you? And I go, sure. And so then she puts her arm through my arm, and we walk over to a table, and she's like, how about here? And she's trying to get me alone on a table over here. And I was like, well, I'm with these guys over here. Sorry, I got to take a puff of my Lego cigarette because this story is stressing me out. So she's trying to get me to sit by myself at this table where my two dudes and two other girls are. And I'm like, oh no, I came with these guys. I want to hang out with my friends over here, and so we ended up all sitting at this little open table, and the nerves, like even telling the story is getting my heart fucking going. My nerves are so high. Again, I explained, like, I just, this whole situation is now, I'm like, oh, this is all fake. They just want my money. I don't have cash. They're going to be pissed when they find out I don't have cash. So I'm in my head trying not to be rude, trying to be, like nice and, like, you know, talking to him, but I'm also trying to, like, make sure that it doesn't go any further to the point where they expect money or something. So she's sitting there talking to me, and I'm, like, kind of, let's see if I can do this. I'm, like, I've got this thing where I'm kind of got my hands on my knees, and I'm turned this way looking at her. I'm looking to my right at her, and we're talking, and I'm like looking at Ethan and Damien, and they're talking to people, and I'm like, ugh. And so then I'm like going back and forth between all three of these people, and she goes, so what's your type? Do you like Asians? And I was like, I like everybody. I paused for a second because I was gonna do a joke where I sounded really suave about it, but I was like, no, I love everybody. I absolutely, I love everybody. I was like, I'm usually here for any type, you know what I mean? And she was like, well, what is your type? And I go, any type. I was like, I not very specific. And in my head, I was like, why does it matter? I don't know. Anyway, she continued to talk to me, and she was being really nice. Like, you know, they're starting up conversations, and what they're supposed to do. I'm aware, but she was asking like what I like to do in my free time and like all this kind of stuff. And so I was like, I make music, and she was like, oh, you're a musician. What kind of music do you make? And like, I was like, anything. Like, I had the same answer for what type of women I like as I did for what type of music I make. And so I was like, any of them. I make any of the music. Yeah. There's not a lot of music. And I was like, you know, it's funny. And I say this joke every single time anybody asks me what type of music I make. My response always is, well, and I do a little laugh. Well, it's hard to really pinpoint because when you go listen to my Spotify discography, it goes from a love song to a funk song to like a summer nights chill song that's like indie vibe thing to a song with just like fucking guitar and shit. Then my album is just like nice soft music. I don't even know what genre that is. And so instead of trying to explain all that, I just go, I kind of just do everything. Anything you can think of, I try to do it, and it's most likely out there on YouTube or Spotify or whatever. And then I brought up photography. She's like, what do you like to take pictures of? And I was like, anything, lady. I like to take pictures of anything. I was like, but actually, mainly, like, or I wanted to tell her, I was going to be like, well, I like to do commercial photography more. But before I could do it, she was like, oh, you like to do photography. Maybe you can take some pictures of me. And behind all the cringe, I was like, lady, leave me alone. Because it was just the longer this went on, my anxiety was just ramping up higher and higher and higher because that means I'm getting further into this conversation and digging myself deeper into a hole of that she wants money and I need to pay her for talking to me or something. So I am like slowly freaking out more and more, and she is still talking to me and prying these questions, and I appreciate. She was very nice. Again, that's what she's supposed to do. But I was like, well, I like to do more commercial photography stuff, like, and it took everything in me not to just lie. What the fuck is she? What the fuck? She's, you know, like, what is she gonna do? I'm some fucking 21-year-old from Utah. And I should have been like, yeah, I've been put in, like, magazines, which I have been in a magazine, a local one. But, like, I could have just been lying out of my ass, which probably would have made me feel a little more comfortable about being in such a weird, awkward situation. Or it would have made me feel guilty, and it would have made it 10 times worse. But either way, wasn't doing great. I did record. Okay, so it was... a very hard situation to navigate for myself because Ethan and Damien are in their own conversations, and it is so funny. I wish there would be a way for me to create the scenario for everyone to see it from my point of view, because all I'm hearing is her talking to me in my ear, and then just like random like coming from Damien and this lady and Ethan and this lady, and I'm like talking to her, then nervously looking up at them to check on them to see if they're checking on me or something, then going back to her. And then she was like, well, do you want to maybe go back and have a dance or something? Like she finally was trying to pull me back to like a room and have a private dance. And which I had been warned about this whole situation and still was just like, oh, no, I'm okay. I think I'm gonna kind of chill out here for a minute. And see what these guys want to do tonight and like all this kind of stuff. And so she was like, okay. And then we kind of sit there in silence. And because I wasn't expecting her to be like, okay, and then wait for me to employ a conversation about what we're doing and all this kind of stuff so that I could go with her. Like, in my head, that was my out. It was like, okay, then she'll get up and leave, and then I can be by myself to try and pry to these guys and be like, okay, I'm not very comfortable with this right now. And but she didn't leave. And then my anxiety got even worse because now we are sitting in dead silence. I am sitting in a strip club in Las Vegas next to a stripper, sitting in awkward silence while my two friends are talking to strippers and just like a casual conversation. And I'm just sitting there like, this is the worst moment ever. Like, I am cringing. I am anxious, nervous. Any fucking emotion you could think of that is just horrible is just happening. And so I think eventually she was like, she said something and she was like, you doing okay? And I was like, well, I think, and then this lady that came over to get drinks, she was like, well, do you want something to drink? And in my head, I hesitated and I was like, well, what do you have? Thinking like a beer or something like that, right? Which we just had this conversation, A, last episode, B, just moments before we walked into the hallway about how they don't serve alcohol. And I go, well, what do you have? And she was like, water, this, sparkling water. And I was like, oh, I'll take a water. And then it ended up being like, she was like, that'll be $9. And I was like, oh, maybe not. Because $9 for a water is a little much, you know? And so I was like, oh, maybe not. And then she was like, well, it's like a $9 minimum. And then not only did the strippers, all three of them next to us, look at me with like a disgust kind of look, like a what the fuck look. The person with the drinks was kind of like, seriously? And then my friends are just like not helping me at all in this situation. So I have 4 people staring at me being like, you're really not going to pay for a water? And I was like, just kidding. I'll take the $9 water. I gave her my card and I was like, this is the worst situation in my whole life. And I get my water back and I take a big chug of that shit. Put the cap on and the lady next to me was like, so you doing okay? And I was like, well, I'm actually having quite a bit of anxiety right now. So I might just have to, hang out. And she was like, okay. And she was like, so do you want me to go? And I was like, well, maybe just for a minute. She was like, all right, I'll leave and I'll be back in a little bit to check on you, okay? And I was like, okay. So she leaves and I go, oh, fuck, thank God. Okay. Woo! And she gets up and walks away. And I'm sure she walked up to some other stripper lady and was just like, get a load of this fucking idiot. Then I think Damien went to the bathroom or something. I can't remember. But and I think someone was trying to take Ethan to a private room. I can't remember. Anyway, one of his strippers got up and I went to tell him like, hey man, I might need to go. Like I might go hang out outside. Just you guys can stay in here as long as you want, but I might just have to go outside and just hang out there because this is not like my vibe. And then a stripper came up to him and was talking to him, and he was just like, oh, hey, how you? Like immediately just whoop. And then another stripper came up around me, and she like sees that I'm sitting by myself, but she's not really noticing that I'm hunched over, hand in hand, holding my fucking water bottle real tight and like trying to like just chill. And it's funny I say chill like that. I'm trying to chill out. I'm trying to not be as anxious as I am. And so she comes over, she pulls a seat over, and she's like, hey, how you doing? And I was like, well, I'm actually having a bit of a panic attack right now. And she goes, oh, why? Like disgusted, completely disgusted with me having a panic attack. She was like, oh, why? And I was like, well, I just don't know if I want to. And she was like, ugh. And then like turned around and to this other guy that was sitting nearby or something like that. And I was like, I want to leave. Like now. I would like to go home. Get me the fuck out of here. I just had a stripper fucking recoil in disgust because I was not feeling very comfortable in a strip club. So she turns around, and now I'm also realizing like I can't look at the strippers because it feels disrespectful to look at your tits. I'm sorry, but like I'm in there to look at tits, and it felt disrespectful to be like, oh, nice milkers, like just stare. Like I couldn't do it, and so like I would look up, and there would be a pair of tits, and I'd be like, oh, and then there would be another pair of tits. I'd be like, whoa, and then there would be like it's just like ass tits, and I'm like and I just started freaking out a little bit more. And then I'm like, you know what, maybe I should turn around and look at the stage that's behind me. So I turn around and look at the stage. There is a lady upside down who apparently, according to Ethan, queefed a dollar bill off of her while upside down, shot the dollar bill in the air. And so I turn around to see something going on back there. I think I don't even know if I saw bare tits or not. They just saw something over there and was like, wow, that's pretty... like I was just at a loss. This was this is not my environment. Like that's not something for me, and I felt so bad for everybody. Like just the whole situation, and it didn't help that there were like no one there. There was like 4 other people in the strip club other than me, Ethan, and Damien. So there was like 7 dudes total, and there are so many strippers in there. And so they're all sitting in tables, they're all walking around, and so that like that's why I'm saying like I'm looking around and that's all that I can see, and I'm freaking out because it felt disrespectful. And my God, I did not know how to handle this situation. I was either A, just gonna get up and walk out, or B, convince the guys like, hey, we should go get drinks somewhere. like we gotta do something. And Damien had come back and sat down, and someone was talking to him again, and then we had sat for a while, and then he was like I had previously mentioned, he had a diarrhea issue, so left to the bathroom again, and when he got back, he was standing there, and I had been telling, sorry to backtrack again, I had been telling Ethan, I was like, dude, I think I just need to go, like I need to head out. I need to go out of this place now. I need to get out of here, okay? And he seemed like bugged. Like he seemed annoyed that I wanted to leave because he was talking to a stripper that was like literally his description of a perfect girl. And I learned this because we were talking about it prior to the strip club. Somehow brought up about what kind of women he likes. And what kind of woman he likes. And so when we were there, and like all of a sudden I look over, and it's literally like his dream girl kind of situation talking to him. I was like, oh fuck, he's done for. He's done for. And I did forget to mention another stripper came over and sat down next to me, and just instead of recoiling in disgust, she's like, you doing okay? And I was like, I'm having a bit of a panic attack, and I'm just not used to this kind of place, And then she seemed to kind of snap out of the facade. Which, and as I was about to bring this up, a couple of the other women that had sat down next to me were like caressing my thighs and like, touching me and shit. But when I was telling the stripper about it, she kind of dropped it. She was like, okay, well, she was like, just kind of like focus on a one point over here and just try to breathe, like, and was trying to help me out. She was like rubbing my back a little bit, and I was trying to breathe. I had a stripper counting breaths with me, which I didn't need her to do that. I can full on like stare at a point and hyper focus on one point somewhere and just stick there and breathe through things. But she being there made it harder for me to do that. So they kind of canceled out the ability to do so. And she was like, breathe in, breathe out. And as I was breathing in, she was like, breathing in, breathe out. And she was like, oh, you're holding it in. I wasn't. I was breathing out, but I was just going like I kept the same face as I was breathing in as I was breathing out. And so she just thought that I was continuously breathing in and holding it, and I guess that probably weirded her out. And then she was like, I'll be back in a little bit to check on you, okay? And she walked away. So I had two strippers that were like, I'll be back to check on you. And I was like, please leave, please leave, please leave, please leave. And so then I'm telling Ethan, I'm like, hey, like, I'm ready to get out of here. And then the stripper next to him's like, you're trying to leave? And I was like, yeah, I'm not doing good right now. Like, I'm having a bit of a panic attack. This isn't my kind of scene. I'm not a fan of this. So I think I might leave. And I was like, you can stay here, fully, completely understand that you want to be here. You enjoy your time. You paid for your time. You be here for that time. And you do whatever the fuck you're going to do. I'm just going to go hang out in the parking lot and play on my phone. And I also needed to talk to my cousin just because we were going to meet at this bar that she works at. And so I was just going to like talk to her, maybe like call her or something like that and just talk on the phone. So I had an idea of what I wanted to do, which helped me calm down a little bit. Like, yeah, that's a good plan. I'll go out there. I'll do that. And so I'm trying to tell that. And then the stripper's the stripper's doing the opposite. Is like, no, you should stay here with me. You're enjoying your time with me, right? I'm pretty, and you want to talk to me. And Ethan's like, yeah, of course. Like, he's just getting suckered into it. And so that left me at a disadvantage because obviously tits are gonna surpass anything that I can say to get him or anybody in the world really to leave. But that's when Damien had come back, and I'm sitting here pleading to Ethan to let me leave or for him to just come with me. But mainly just I want to go. I want to get out of here. Like, there's just been back-to-back not good things, and it's completely my fault. And I'm just not comfortable in a scenario like that, in a situation like that. So I wanted to get out of that, And I don't know. I felt bad because I was in. This is a weird thing. I felt bad that I was having a panic attack, and I guess I shouldn't say panic attack. I was just, no, I would call it a panic attack. And so I felt bad that I was in this, but not for myself, but for them, because I am making it harder for them to be like. It's just the whole situation was so fucked, and so Damien comes back and he goes, yeah, I'm ready to go. And it was like fucking music to my ears. It was gold on my tongue. It was just the best fucking thing I could hear in that moment. It felt like someone just took a fucking 10,000-pound hammer off my chest and threw it across the fucking mountain. I felt it. Oh my God. Like, clouds cleared out of the sky and just the heavens beamed on me in this strip club. And then I was like, yeah, see, maybe me and Damien will go outside. You do what you need to do. And we'll head out. Bada boom, bada bing, And after a bit of conversing between everyone, when Ethan said that he was going to go or something like that, and he wanted to I can't remember who he was talking to. I think there was another stripper that had showed up for some reason. I don't know. But when he had said that he wanted to go, the stripper again recoiled in disgust and was like, "Ugh," and like pushed Ethan away. And apparently that was a big deal to him. I didn't know that happened, but he told us later, and he was upset that she was just like, oh, like pushed him away. And so we're starting to head out, and the guy's like, are you guys leaving? Like the security guy, and we were like, yeah. And he was like, do you guys need a taxi? And we were like, yeah, we might. And he was like, all right, I'll follow you guys out there. And I go, oh, is there any chance I could grab that marker? And he was like, oh, yeah, of course, man. And so we walk over there, and he goes, hey, can I get the and they grab like a desk, like a cup that you would have on your desk full of pens, you know? And so they grab that and bring it over, and he just was like, this one, right? And I was like, yeah. And he takes it out, and he's like, sorry, we just, again, about that. And I was like, dude, no problem at all. And I was like, I'm sorry I had it on me, but, you know, it's the Super Bowl thing. And he's like, oh, yeah, dude, there's tons of celebrities out here. 100% I get it. And I was like, all right. He was really cool. I was like, so, yeah, okay. So then he comes with us outside, and he talks to this guy at this little thing to get, like, a taxi going. And then the taxi guys go, the guy that's supposed to help coordinate with taxis goes, yeah, we've got a guy over here. And so like a taxi pulls up, and he comes over to us, and he was like, where are you guys going? And I give him the name of the bar. And he goes, maybe see if Uber costs less or something. I can't remember what it was. Like either the guy at the counter that directs the taxi stuff said to check Uber, or the taxi guy himself said to check Uber. It was very weird. Like, you would probably think, like, the taxi guy wouldn't say that because he's losing out on money. But I'm pretty sure that he did. And we were like, oh, yeah, sweet. So we fucking backed off, and we were like, blah, 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 blah. Looked at Uber. It was cheaper. And so I did have cash. I lied. I forgot I had $20 cash, just a $20 bill. And I was going to use that to pay our Uber from the strip club to the bar. And ended up the guy that picked us up was a very big buff guy that lived in Vegas, where Ethan was looking at places to buy to live. And so they struck up a conversation, and then we were all making jokes about stuff, and he did not seem to like it. He seemed like this was just another job. Like our last taxi guy was like honking the horn and having a blast with us, and then this Uber was like just like stone cold, did not want to fucking have a conversation with us, like not a fan. And so we go. I did forget to mention that the first stripper asked me if we were going to the Super Bowl, and I did lie, and I said we were supposed to, but found out that this, and this, and then it ended up being a whole thing. And she was like, "Oh, that's a bummer." She caresses my thigh. Anyway, we get to the bar, and I'm like nervous because I I've only met this cousin, like I said, maybe once, maybe at that, and so. It was like and this is on my dad's side of the family, so it's not even like my mom's side. This is my dad's side. This is a family member that, like, this side of the family, I didn't even know I didn't know they existed until not too long ago. And so I was nervous because I'm meeting them for the first time, and I was like, I follow her on Instagram and stuff like that, and so we talk every once in a while on, like, commenting on each other's posts or, like, swiping up on our stories or whatnot. And it was like, very nerve-wracking going from, I mean, I was way chilled the fuck out after we left that strip club. My God, felt like it was just the best thing ever. And I went to pay for the Uber, and then one of them was like, one of my friends was like, no, and paid for it. Damien and Ethan, one of them paid for it and was like, I got it. And I was like, hey, we're here at this bar because I want to see my cousin. It's not like, this isn't for you guys. Like, let me pay for it. And they were just like, don't worry about it. And I was like, like, I understood, like, I did tell them, I was like, if I'm going to sleep on the air mattress and not a bed, then pay for my drinks. But now they're paying for dinners. Like, I think one of them paid for my Buffalo Wild Wings. One of them paid for my Dicks. One of them, my Dicks. One of them paid for drinks somewhere. Like, Ethan bought me that, like, slushy one. And so they're going overboard, and which we'll go over later. And then they pay for the Uber, and then we get in there, and I get it, and then I think someone was like, "Are you related to her?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's me." Or I said, "Yeah." And then we sat down, and apparently for the longest time, he thought that Ethan was the one that was related to her and not me until later on. But she comes out, and we had like a great time. I ordered a beer, and they were like, "You're going to a bar, you're going to order a beer." Like, they thought it was the weirdest thing, and I was like, "Why? Why is that weird?" And then later on, I think I had like a vodka Red Bull, a couple of them or something like that. And I was downing them left and right. I was like, might as well just fucking go for it. And she said she had them put on her tab, and I wasn't running up the tab on it. I was trying to like actually stay. But then she was like, "Do you want to get another drink or something?" And then like I think at one point we had a shot or something. And she's covering all of us, mine, Ethan, and Damien. And so I was feeling really bad, and already plotting to put some money, like the cash that I had, somewhere in her car or something like that. Like, anyway, we had just a great time there. We talked to a bunch of people, and she was working, so from time to time she would have to leave and go help someone, and then she'd come back. And but in that conversation, we had realized that like we don't talk enough. Like we don't know like anything about each other. And I thought my dad would fill her in on a lot of things, but I forgot my dad fucking sucks at talking. He sucks at using anything electronically. And not in a way where like, I don't understand how to use it, kind of like old guy stuff. He just like is ignorant and refuses. Dad, and if you're listening to this, it's fucking true. You're weird about technology, and you also suck at fucking talking to people, especially on Facebook, which is the only thing he'll use. So she is trying to get a hold of him and talk to him or something like that, and she's having issues talking to him. And so I'm trying to tell her stories about like this, and this, and she's like, "Wait, who's that?" And I was like, "You don't know who that is?" Well, fuck. And then I backtrack, and I gotta be like, okay, this is this person's person. This is this person's, and I'm like dissecting our weird family tree thing that we have that she has no idea about. And I'm like, oh my God, you don't know about this, you don't know about this. And so then it gets to almost closing, and she was like, "Well, I'm gonna finish doing this up, and then I'll drive you guys back to your hotel." And I was like, "You don't have to do that." And she was like, "Well, you come on, you gotta let." And so anyway, it was a fantastic time being there and being able to talk to her. I spent like the whole night just rambling and just chatting her ear off. I felt bad too because I feel like I talked way more than I needed to. Like I should have let her say some things, but I just couldn't stop talking. And we talked to some of the people in there. There wasn't a lot of people in the bar area. It's a karaoke bar, so there wasn't a lot of people in the bar area, but I think there were people elsewhere. So we got in her car, and whoever Ethan and Damien were talking to, they were like talking to them for a while. And so me and her got in her car before them, and we were talking about music and stuff. And then we were talking about like how it is driving when it's like huge groups of people like it is. And we got to the hotel, and I think Damien or Ethan reached up and dropped like I don't know if it was like $100 or something like that, but it was a big chunk of money. And then I saw that, and she was like, "Wait, no, you don't have to." And I went and whipped out my wallet and threw down my 20. Which saying that now is like really stupid. Because someone just dropped off like a shit ton of money right there, and I was like, "Fuck, $20." But it's the only cash I had, and I knew she wouldn't accept like a Venmo or something. Like I was trying to figure out how I would pay her. And so when they slapped that down, I slapped it down, and then someone else threw cash in there. So she had so much fucking money sitting there. And then we all jumped out of the car. Like we threw it down and jumped out. And then she was like, "No, guys, come on." And then I gave her a hug. I was like, "Nope, come here, give me a hug." So I gave her a hug. And I did take a picture with her. I don't know if I want to throw that in. because damn, did it already cut? I don't know if I want to throw that in for her sake. I don't know if she'll be worried about that or not, but it was fun. And I'm trying to think. Yeah, so she dropped us off at the hotel.
Oh, excuse me.
Also, I did try to get Ethan or Damien on the podcast. I tried to get both of them, either or. You know, like, I just wanted one of those guys on here because that would have been a great way to have Cade's not here. I'm talking about Vegas. Maybe get one of the fucking idiots that was in Vegas with me on the podcast, and they were both busy, so I guess it wasn't going to work out. Anyway, we got to the hotel, and we're like, we're pretty up there, you know, like, we've had quite a bit to drink collectively throughout the day and a lot at that bar, which, by the way, she was like, that was more than it cost for your drinks when we were, like, leaving the money in there. And she was like, I had, like, a discount because I worked there, you know, and I was like, it doesn't matter. You're keeping the money, and you drove us home, so, like, don't worry about it. And she was getting all upset about it, and I was like, keep the fucking money. And, anyway, we get in there, and you guys want to go to the pool? Which I don't know if I explained this. I know I said that the pool's right there, but, like, it's an outdoor pool, and it's still, like, you know, 50s, 60s, maybe dipping a little low outside with wind and stuff, so it was pretty fucking cold. Or I guess I should say 40s, 50s with the wind. It wasn't 60s quite yet. And so it was obviously not a great idea to go swim outside in that. Then we go up the elevator and go into our room, and Ethan cracks open a beer, and we're supposed to get up by 10. No, we're supposed to get up before 10, like 8 o'clock, so that we can leave and go to the Super Bowl tailgate party at Guy Fieri's restaurant that we got, like, our tickets for, like, free tickets. We didn't pay for them. And so we were supposed to get up at, like, 8 o'clock. It is about almost 2 in the morning, and we're drunk, and I think it was either Ethan or Damien cracked open a beer. And so then we're all frantically getting ready to go to bed. Like, we're fucking getting everything ready to go, filling up the air mattress. We're just moving stuff around, getting everything ready to go, setting stuff out for tomorrow. Like, we're planning everything out. And then we hear we turn and look, and someone just cracked open a beer. And one of them goes, "Did you just open a beer?" And he goes, "Yeah." And he's like, "We got to get up tomorrow." And he's like, "Yeah, I know." And so now that everything's, like, set up and ready to go to bed, we're, like, sitting there talking, and then we get into a really, 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 really deep emotional talk about everything. And I'm not going to get into all that, but they were both telling me, they were like, "Yeah, we keep paying for stuff like this because, like, I understand that, like, you know, you're in a tougher money situation than we are, and rather than having you being stressed about money the whole time and, like, choosing what this and this, we would rather pay for these and then we'd rather pay more and have a great trip, all three of us, than have to, you know, worry about this and have you being stressed out." And I was like, "You guys." And it was a very like, the full conversation probably spanned like 2 hours, so it was about 4 a.m. when we all ended up going to bed. It was very emotional, very touching. All of us had a couple of beers, and which was not good. I did end up chugging, like, a Gatorade before bed. I think I had a Gatorade and a half or something, and I think I was starting to have the spins before I went to bed, so I had to put on, like, a show or something to fucking fall asleep. And it was fucking rough. And that next morning, I was hungover as fuck. And so they got up at the right time, showered, got ready, and then they were like, Carson, you want to get up so we can get ready to go? And I was like, no, you go. And or no, they were gonna go to breakfast at the hotel. They were like, you got free breakfast till this time. Do you want to go? And I was like, no. And they're like, well, I don't want to leave him here. And I go, go. And they kind of giggle a little bit. And they're like, Carson, we don't want to leave you here. And I just go, go. No, go. And I'm like yelling just no at something, and then yelling for them to just go. Like, just don't fucking worry about me being in the hotel. Just go. I'm fine. Well, I'm hungover, but I'm fine. And so they go get breakfast, and I eventually get up and go I go take a shower, and I get ready. It was a rough, like, I had to sit down in the shower a couple times. I also forgot my shampoo, conditioner, body wash, all that shit. I left that all at home on accident, so I had to use the tiny little ones for the hotel gives you. And I have a lot of hair, and their little conditioner was not cutting it. So that was a little tough. But that's around when Kanye's new album came out, so I had that playing while I was in the shower. And I don't know why I thought to mention that, but it was just funny listening to him say, beautiful big titty butt naked women just don't fall at the sky no mo. Sky no mo. And then I got dressed and got ready because this is Super Bowl day. You know, it's Super Bowl day. And get my jersey on. I'm getting ready to go. And they come back to the hotel, and obviously we didn't get to go to the fucking Guy Fieri thing. We all slept in. Well, I slept in. They decided not to go. Apparently they walked to the Strip for something. I think maybe the hotel didn't offer breakfast, and they walked somewhere to get breakfast, maybe. I can't quite remember that part. But they saw some airplane spell some shit out in the sky. I can't remember what it was. And then now we have to figure out, like, where we're going to go watch the Super Bowl, because it was going to be at Guy Fieri's thing. And they were like, well, we could just go to, like, the MGM. Go to, like, their big TVs or something. They had a specific place they wanted to look for TVs. And I was just like, it's all going to be full. Like, everyone in their fucking that isn't at the Super Bowl is going to be staring at all these TVs. There's nowhere for us to look. And so we wandered around, and finally we made it to the MGM and, like, wandered around there for a while trying to find a TV that we could. We went through a bunch of casinos to find TVs, and I was getting frustrated because I was hangry and hungover, which doesn't really mesh well. And then I needed more water than I had, and I needed to sit down, of all things. So we eventually are in the MGM, and we find this thing. It's called, like, the Centrifuge, and it's just, like I explained forever ago on one of the episodes, it's just one of the casinos that has a middle thing that is a bar. And so we went over there, and we're standing on, like, against this rail looking up and into the thing to watch the game. And we are standing there for a while watching the game. I think we missed the first little bit of it, but we got there in time to watch, you know, the big majority of it. And so we sat down on the floor outside of this bar. It's still inside, by the way. It's just outside of the bar. And we were watching through, like, this little, like, railing and, like, pillars and stuff, watching this football game. And I think I have pictures of maybe Ethan or someone sitting on the ground. But after a while, like, my wrists and my back and everything started hurting because there's nothing to lean against. And there's people doing the exact same thing that we're doing. And I turn around, and there's a perfect spot against a wall not too far from me. And I'm like, that would be perfect. And so I went to get up, and someone sat there. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? So I'm just kind of dealing with the pain. I'm going from, like, standing, sitting, kneeling, fucking any sort of position you can think of. And I end up turning around and seeing that they left. And I was like, oh, shit. And I go, okay, guys, I'm going to go sit over here. So I walked over and sat. I got a sit on the wall. Like, there was a ledge against the wall, so I got to sit on that and actually have a seat. And then after a while, I was like, I kind of want to kick my legs out, so I sat against the seat, and then I was able to kick my head back like this onto my hood, so I was comfy as shit. And then I just sat there and watched the rest of the game from where I was, and then the halftime show. It was funny. Every single time that Taylor Swift was on screen, the entire fucking building booed. Like, just unanimously, the entire building, you'd just be sitting there, and if you weren't watching the game, and you just all of a sudden hear, boo, and then you'd be like, oh, there's Taylor on the screen. Like, it was so fucking funny to me. And once the game started to get real fucking tense, Damien ended up joining me against the wall. Ethan stayed over there. Obviously, it's his team, so he wanted to be watching the game. And the people around, I don't know if it was security or something, came around the centrifuge and was like, you can't be sitting here, you can't be sitting here, you can stand, but you can't be sitting here. So everyone had to stand up and fucking walk away or stay there or whatever. So he's standing up, and apparently another guy inside the centrifuge is talking to him about the game and whatnot. Also, there was a guy in there who was just already fucking blasted by the time we got there. He had his shirt off. He kept, like, taking his shirt off and then putting it on. He was, like, dancing around the centrifuge and, like, doing this whole thing. And as soon as the game starts to get really fucking intense, we ended up going and joining Ethan against the centrifuge. Sorry, I wanted to look at this real quick because more drinks, talking, hangover, missed tailgate, showered, MGM, sat by centrifuge, and okay. Drunk motherfuckers, yeah. Kanye's commercial, I wanted to talk about that because it was just him on his fucking phone. He's like, yeah, we paid for the spot in the commercial, but we didn't pay for the commercial, or we paid for the spot in the Super Bowl commercials, but we didn't pay to make the commercial. So it's just him on his phone. Then Deadpool, the new Deadpool trailer had come out around there, and so that was I'm so excited for that. Jason Kelce at the Super Bowl and his little after party thing cracked me up. Of him being in a like fucking mask. Oh, and then him showing up looking like what's his face from The Hangover, which I think I found out that was fake. Anyway, we get up to the centrifuge and we're watching the game play out, and it's getting just intense. You know, they go into overtime, and this guy, every time the 49ers did something good or the Chiefs did something bad, you know, like anything that was in like the I don't know what word I'm looking for, in favor of the 49ers, this guy would come over and give me and Ethan knuckles and then walk away. But not Damien. And so he would walk up and be like, yeah, yeah. And me and Ethan would be like, hell yeah. And he'd give Ethan knuckles, me knuckles, and walk away. And then Damien would just sit there with his knuckles out. And then Ethan would just give him knuckles. And then after a while, Damien like switched with Ethan to see if it was just the positioning. And so then the guy comes over to give Ethan knuckles and like pauses in front of Damien and he goes, yeah, you can be in it too, and gives him knuckles. Then me knuckles and then walks away. And then Ethan it was a funny bit that we had with that guy who was also really fucking drunk. And oh my God, it was just tough watching the 49ers lose. I felt so bad for Ethan, and the whole situation was fucked. I was not excited about all the cocky Chiefs fans. Plus, the Chiefs beat the Eagles last year, so I'm a little bitter about it. And from there, I think Ethan was pretty pissed, and we were all pretty hungry, so we were like, let's get the fuck out of here and go fight food. So we're walking out on the strip, and they're like, well, where do you want to fucking eat? And all this kind of stuff. Like, everyone's not really in the best mood. And so, I think I was like, let's go to Whataburger. Like, it's right there. They don't have it in Utah. Let's go have some Whataburger. We go over there and find a bathroom. We all needed to piss so bad. Find a bathroom. Order our Whataburger. And it's, like, connected to a bar. So we went and sat in the bar. They had, like, a beer or something. I ate my food. Being hungover, I did not want to have another beer. So I ate my food, and the girl next to me was from Texas, and this was the funniest thing to me. I'm sitting there, and I am like dumping the rest of my fries in my mouth, and I set it down, and then Ethan gives me his fries. So I was like, oh, fuck yeah. So I finished those fries off, and the girl next to me goes like, do you like Whataburger? And I was like, oh, yeah. And she was like, they've got the great this, and this. And I was like, absolutely they do. And she was like, I'm from Texas, and the one out in Texas. And I go, oh, I'm aware. And she was like, well, because like she was explaining all this stuff about Texas, and I was just aching to be like, I know, I've been to Texas. I know, I've had Whataburger in Texas. I know. And then finally she like stops it. I was like, yeah, I've actually I've been to Texas a couple times, and I've had the Whataburger out there, and I didn't really taste a huge difference, but I agreed with her. I was like, I don't know what they do in Texas, but it's so much better. And she was like, oh, where are you from? And I go, Utah. And I was like, so we don't even have these in Utah. And she was like, oh, no. And then I told her I had gone to one in Arizona and also lied. I was like, nothing beats Texas. I was like, everything's better. I was like, they say everything's bigger in Texas. Everything's just better in Texas. Like catering, I'm like fucking, what's it called? Pandering. I'm pandering to her Texan thing. And then she said something about me having a nice smile and all this kind of stuff. And I was just like, stop. And at the end of the conversation, she goes, no, she goes, I'm sorry, my inner Texan's coming out. And I was like, hey, I love it. No worries at all. And then she kind of like giggles and then turns back to her friend that she was talking to. And Ethan like is staring at me, and I look at him, and I was like, I don't know if she was like actually like trying to flirt with me or not, but that was a great conversation regardless. Then we took off back to we didn't go to Excalibur yet. So we stopped at another casino to gamble there and ended up waiting for Damien to go to the bathroom for 10 years. And then we went to Excalibur. I think one of them maybe they went to a table there. That's what it was. And they played blackjack or some shit. I don't know. I fucked off again. And they lost. So we went to Excalibur and gambled some more. I'm trying to remember. Let me look at my Snapchat. Oh, I'm pretty sure the camera cut for fucking ever ago. Uh-oh.
Last cut. Last cut.
I should have looked at my Snapchat in the cut, but I literally just stood up and ran to the fucking camera. Okay. So it looks like nothing on my camera roll. We're going to check Snapchat. Ooh. Cigarette. My Lego cigarette. All right, let's see here. February. Okay. I got fucking nothing. So I think I found someone's like little payout card that was like 80 cents. We wandered around. I think that was the night that Ethan ended up getting money or something. I can't quite remember which night he was up money-wise. But then we went back to we were heading back to the hotel, and as we were walking back, we were probably like one street away, I think, and we can see the Sphere from right there. But as we like turned a corner, we heard like a just loud noises, and I recognized immediately that it was a car crash, and I was like, oh, that sounded like a car accident. And they were like, I don't know, there was like two sounds, and I was like, that was for sure a car accident. And then me and Ethan were determined to get a picture of SpongeBob on the Sphere before we left. So we just sat on the sidewalk, or not on the sidewalk. We sat on this little like concrete wall thing next to the sidewalk and waited for it to be SpongeBob again so that we could take pictures and videos. But as we're waiting, after hearing that happen, some dude comes walking down, and he goes, some car just flipped upside down back there. And we were like, what the fuck? And he was like, yeah, I don't know how it happened, but the car flipped upside down. And he shows us a picture of this car is completely upside down and just sitting in the middle of the intersection on the strip. And we were like, holy shit. And I was like, I fucking told you it was a car accident. And then they were like, how does that even happen? And he goes, I don't even know. I don't even know how it happened. And the guy walks off, and then I go, you guys want to go look at it? That's like a joke. And I was like, we were just appalled that the car flipped upside down right there. Like, you had to have either been going really fast and fucked up in a major way to flip upside down in such a tight area. But the whole thing was just fucked up. And then eventually SpongeBob was on the sphere. And we got a picture and video and stuff of that. Then when we got back, we just cleaned the fuck up. Like, we were cleaning everything, putting everything away, like, grabbing all this stuff. And so that in the morning, when we woke up, we could pack gone, you know? And, yeah, we went to sleep. Next morning, got up, packed all our shit together, and fucking cleared out, you know? Next episode, I'll bring my stack of nude cards that I had, because I had a fuck ton of those. And I'll just show you how thick it is, because this is just every time we were on the strip, every time we were walking around on the strip, we would just collect them back to back to back to back. We just keep collecting them. Trying to see if I really missed anything. Dix turned Damien into Spider-Man. I think that is in conclusion how that went, because then the drive home was just fucking long. But I think that concludes Verbatim Baster, baby. Vegas, baby. That's it right there. Vegas, baby. Vaping babies. Vorgborgus. What did I say? Vein Baler and Verbatim Baster. There you go. All these parts put together. You got a fucking trip to Vegas right there. And then when Cade gets back, he's going to have to talk about Vegas too. But yeah, it's over. We did it. We got through Vegas. Woo! We got through Vegas, baby. Way to go. Way to go, everybody. Way to go, team. Everybody give yourself a round of applause. Pat on the back. You did good. Listening, you did good. Make sure you give it a like. Give us a subscribble. CK Beats, 2 Brains, 1 Cell, all of the above. This has been fun hanging with Carson. And to all you bitches that are going to be upset that I did a solo episode and didn't have anyone on, I needed to talk about Vegas before he had a story to talk about Vegas when he got back. So I just needed to get this out as quick as possible, and without the other one being here to derail the podcast in the greatest way. You guys just have a full storytelling episode again that's boring as shit. But we got through it together, didn't we? We fucking did it. I had a Lego cigarette and fucking my minky and my crazy ass hair, and we got through this episode. Thank you. And buy a sticker and shit, you know? I had a lot more stuff I wanted to talk about. I thought I would get over this quickly, but nope. But, yeah, thank you guys for listening to this episode. 105. We just had our 2 years, so 91 subscribers. We're, oof. So yeah, next time you see us, hopefully Cade will be back and he will have some fun Vegas stories to talk about. Now that I just got done talking about my Vegas stories. Took 4 fucking episodes, and it was only 3 days. Ew. All right, I'm fucking done. I'm out of here. Get me the fuck out of here. Where's my fucking Lego cigarette? It's probably not even in focus. This thing's kind of sick though, right?
Well, I think I'm buying me a I figure I'll buy me a motorcycle, wrap a pretty little frame around a telephone pole. You know? Goodbye.